Hello and welcome to another video from oorail. My name's John, I run the oorail channel, and I'm taking a quick break from the layout. Today is Friday, November 24th, 2023. It's Black Friday and there's quite a few really good deals with 3D printers. So what I wanted to do was, there's one 3D printer in particular that's great for beginners. It has auto leveling. It's actually a clone of a much more expensive type of printer. And right now it's been marked down from about £270 to $199 for this weekend. So it's like Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday. So I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. I don't do any sponsorship or anything like that on this channel. I just buy this my own stuff and just share the hobby and things like that. But if I was starting out again with 3D printing, I would buy one of these printers. In fact, I did buy one back in May. I've been working with it. It works great. It prints out some really good materials like TPU that's difficult to print with, which is kind of rubbery material, and it printed it out of the box, so you can't really go too far wrong with that. And in fact, it was so good, I bought a second one, and I'll be showing you guys how to build it and so on in an upcoming video. So if you want to follow along, you can go and pick up that printer, or you can pick up pretty much any printer that's on sale. You're not really going to go too far wrong. If you're looking for high-end printer, I use the FL Sun V400 and FL Sun Super Racer. They're Delta printers, really nice. They're also on sale if you're in the United States. Not sure about in the UK, they're a little bit harder to find there. Outside that, just Bamboo Labs, there's Prusa. You can't really go too far wrong with these printers. So in terms of whether you want an MLSLA, which is the resin printer, or the filament printer, you ultimately want to want both. The filament is a lot easier to use, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start videos off with the filament printer in mind, and then we'll go over into the resin printers for doing specific projects, and I'll show you kind of what you'd use for one, what you use for the other, kind of drawbacks and stuff like that, specifically for model railways. If you're modeling in N scale, probably going to want to start with a resin printer unless you're planning to do big scenery like large buildings, large stations, maybe print scenery with it, or track bed or something like that. Then you might be interested in the filament printer. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to stick with resin. For TT120 and up, so like TT120, AA scale, HO scale, you're going to want to start with a filament printer, to be brutally honest. And I've been 3D printing since 2018. I've got both. You'll hear some punters go, oh, you need to know CAD. They're only doing that because the stuff is dirt cheap to make. So you can make models that, like for example, this is a pillbox. I think might run you a tenner or something like that if you buy it from Bachmann. That cost me 10p to make, to be brutally honest, right? So you'll see these guys selling 3D printed models. All they're doing is they're using the same equipment you can buy off Amazon. They're just using it for commercial purposes. So rather than spending your money there, you could buy a printer, some resin, or printer and some filament, and make the same thing at home if you have the models. Now, you don't need to know CAD. I have a website called trackside3d.co.uk. I put some models up there, and over the next couple of months, as I'm building out projects, I'll throw more files up there. You can also go to places like Printables and grab files for free. So anyway, so what I want to do was I'm going to walk you through, give you a bit of a tour of the Sobol SV06 that I have, and give you some other tips and stuff like that in the video. But if you don't want to listen to me waffle on about that for a while, and you just want to go grab a printer, go ahead, grab the printer, like and subscribe, and maybe check the rest of the video out later. But there's plenty of really good deals, so it's a good opportunity to maybe grab one of these good deals, and then revolutionize your model railway with 3D printing. Alright, well, I'm going to go take a quick break and check on the 3D printers. I'll come back and give you guys some more details. And don't worry, we'll be returning to train videos later today. I actually have an update video that I'm currently in the process of filming, and we'll probably get it out today or tomorrow. Alright, so give me a minute, I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the SV06 from Sobol. It's basically a budget version of a more expensive printer. It's very similar to the Prusa i3. what you have here is the direct drive, and this is like one of the main components, and actually one of the reasons why I like this printer. There's no extruder, you're just basically running the material straight into the hot end. And the reason this is good is it means it can handle other materials like TPU. So this is TPU. It's kind of a squishy material. It's just something I kind of made earlier. So it's kind of a rubber material. You can see there it's flexing pretty well. The amount of flex you put into it depends on the level of infill that you do. So you have a lot of control. This is about 2% infill, and you can see there it's reasonably flexible. You can do some cool stuff. So I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but this is a traction tire for a Hornby HST, and I was able to 3D print that. You can see it's pretty squishable. So here I'm just printing out another batch of traction tires. You can see here it just runs a small line of material down, and then it starts basically drawing with it layer by layer and builds it up. The SV06 currently is around 199 pounds. It's typically 270, so it's marked down. In terms of what you get with it, it doesn't come pre-built. It comes in a number of parts. You can see here's the manual. Basically, if I open the manual up real quick, you can see here it comes with a number of parts. It comes with the gantry, the base, the control box, power display, the extruder kit, and then the filament holder. You basically plug the gantry into the base, attach the control box and the power supply with some screws, and the display the same way, and then you just sort of wire it together. It's all color coded and labeled very well. You can sort of get an idea for it right there. So if you can build IKEA furniture and plug in your plug in your DVD player or television set or whatever, you're going to be able to build one of these relatively easily. Now, because it's got this direct drive system, it actually does print with a little bit better quality than, say, like an Ender 3 or something like that. So right now this is kind of in Ender 3 type territory in terms of the price, so it's definitely well worth maybe starting out with one of these. It has auto bed leveling, so it's relatively easy to get the thing working right out of the box. You don't have the headache of really trying to level the bed manually. In terms of material, you're going to want some decent material. I use Hatchbox 3D. At a push, I use Overture, which is a brand Amazon also sells. But Hatchbox 3D is a really good quality filament, and haven't had any problems with it. I think Reality have a filament as well. I haven't actually tried that out yet, although I do have a box of it, so we will walk you through things. Now, you can actually print a wide range of materials. Here's a cat that I 3D printed. This is a calibration cat, and it's kind of a wood material. To give you an idea of what you can print with that, for example, I printed out a ladder earlier. I don't know if you can see that. This is kind of a wood hybrid PLA, and it's one of the things the filament printer is going to give you. It's going to give you a kind of range of materials that you can use for different things. And you saw the pillbox earlier. I printed that in the stone gray, so I don't even have to paint it. So a lot of these things will work well right out of the box. You have a display here where you control it, and there's an SD card where you can put it in. I actually have them connected to a Raspberry Pi and running a piece of software called Octoprint. I also have a camera here. It's a basic webcam, cheap webcam that streams that, so I can be in another room and keep an eye on the printer, make sure it's not running itself into any trouble or anything like that. Alright, so I really just wanted to show you the printer here as it's working. This one I've got dedicated to printing TPU. I've got a bunch of TPU projects, so I've left this running the TPU. I've bought a second one because this printer is really nice. It's a bit slow compared to like the FL Sun that I have here beside it, but it's just as fast as a Prusa and so on. The FL Sun runs at about 400 millimeters per second. This thing prints at about 150, 100, maybe a little slower depending on the TPU. I'm printing a bit slower. There's Bamboo Labs. There's a whole bunch of printers you can get, so you can't really go wrong. And in the upcoming video series I'm going to be doing, you can use any 3D printer. I will be focusing primarily on this just because I'm recommending it for beginners, but it's definitely worth checking out. Alright, so hope you found that useful, and I'm going to go check on some other printers and talk to you a little bit. Printing. So there's two types of 3D printers. There's ones that melt plastic. It's called a filament printer or FDM printer. And basically what it does, it takes a spool of filament, costs about 20 quid or so per kilogram, and it melts it through a little kind of nozzle and draws with it basically, and builds your object up layer by layer. The other type of printer is SLA or MSLA, and basically it uses a liquid resin, and it basically pulls the model up and down and cures it through kind of a LED panel of light. So basically the resin reacts with the light and starts to build the object up, same way layer by layer, but because it's like using a kind of a photo type LCD display at high resolution, you get much more detailed models. And obviously there's two trade-offs for the two. One, you have a much wider range of materials with a filament printer, and then with the resin printer you get much more accurate, fractions of a millimeter type accuracy. Now with the filament printer you can do a lot of stuff. So basically the filament printer, I've been printing with filament printer since 2018. I've been doing a lot of cutting edge stuff with it, and basically you can print pretty much anything. You can print like little bolts, you can print details like brickwork and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you how to do that over the next couple of weeks. Now one of the big myths is that you need to be able to do CAD and stuff like that with 3D printers. That's not all. In fact, what I've tried to do is I want to try to make 3D printing more accessible to people, so you don't have to learn CAD if you don't want to. So I've got this website called trackside3d.co.uk. I'll stick a link up here. And basically, you can download models from there. Now, there's a small fee to grab the models, and the reason for that is just basically to stop people selling the thing on eBay and stuff like that. So you got to pay to get a grab model, £1 or £2 for, depending on what you want to buy. And then when you do that, you have your credit card transactions and stuff like that. So if you do something dishonest, like start selling them on eBay or something like that, we're going to know who did it. So anyway, so what I want to do today is give you guys a quick rundown on a printer that I would buy if I was starting out. And the good news is the printer is a very good quality printer, and there's no affiliate links or anything like that. This is literally me giving some advice on what I would buy if I was starting out today. Now, the question is, which one should you buy? Should you buy a filament printer? Should you buy a SLA printer? So if you're modeling in N scale or something really small, or you want to do something like it's got super fine detail, you probably want to take a look at the MSLA printers. So something like a Elegoo Saturn 2 or 3, Anycubic, any of those printers, you can buy a modern one. You're not going to go too wrong with it. And like I said, there's plenty of good deals. I'm going to do a getting started series over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to start off with the filament printers, and I'm going to work our way over to the resin printers, so you kind of got ups a little bit in difficulty. One thing to keep in mind, and a lot of people don't tell you this with the resin printers, is the LCD is a consumable. So there is, if you're printing, once or twice, a week or something like that, it's going to last you a while. If you're printing like all day, every day, it's probably going to last you, maybe a month or 2-3 months. So just something to be aware of, that LCD does have a finite shelf life, and it's probably a bit less than you're probably expecting. With the filament printers, it is a mechanical machine. Its stuff does break. We'll walk you through stuff as stuff breaks and so on, and show you kind of some of the stuff on how to fix it. It's fairly easy to diagnose stuff, but we'll walk you through it. But anyway, for today, what I wanted to do was basically show you a printer that I would start with. Now, the printer is the Sovol SV06. It's typically around 270-280 pounds in the UK. Here in the United States, it runs about $260 or so in dollars, and that's off of Amazon. Today, though, for Black Friday, they're selling them for $199, both in the UK and here in the States, and that's a really good deal actually. Now one of the reasons this printer is really good is it's basically a much more expensive, or it's basically a clone of a much more expensive Prusa Mark III, and so it has the direct drive, has the PI plate, and the nice thing with this is that it can actually print some fairly difficult materials like TPU, which is kind of like a rubber squishy material, right out of the box. So you can do stuff like traction tires, car door connections with it. You can do some really cool, basically some really cool stuff. Like I said, what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is basically going through a couple of, going through the steps basically, right? So if I had a new model railway layout and I wanted to get started and use a 3D printer to build stuff instead of having to buy scenery or platforms and stuff like that, I'm going to walk you guys through that and then make some of the files available as well, so that maybe you can make it affordable. So if you want to use 3D printers to make your kind of model railway a little bit more affordable, then follow along and we'll see what we can do. Alright, and oh, by the way, I know this is double oorail, but I do have an N scale layout that I'm working on, so we might do a video like double oorail scale down or something like that, but I just want to keep in mind, I know some people have said I wasn't doing any N scale stuff and asked me if I'd take a look at it, so I picked up some N scale stuff and we got a cool project. And this, by the way, is an original sign. This is from Bromborough, I think, and then this is a Ginty Class 3F smoke box plate. It's actually one my late father managed to rescue, and like I said, it's Black Friday. It's a great time to pick up basically a printer and you know, some consumables for it. I will show you some of the stuff related to the printer real quick. So this is a spool of filament. Basically it's you want to keep it under tension, but basically it's plastic, almost like, you know, kind of like a little thin rope. And what it does is it's actually, this end goes through the nozzle and kind of melts it and then basically draws with it. These come in 1 kilogram spools typically, and they'll basically convert to, you know, approximately 1 kilogram of stuff. So if you're 3D printing model railway stuff, you know, obviously that stuff's fairly light, so you can produce a fair amount of stuff with this. So to give you want to put it in perspective, if you wanted to say print some couplings, and one of these spools will do somewhere in the region of 3,000 to 4,000 couplings. So in double O scale. So it's one thing to keep in mind. So the other type of printer is a, like I said, it's a resin printer, and basically it comes with this kind of liquid photo sensitive resin. You can see there it's photosensitive. It's basically a liquid, and it's not the nicest of stuff. You can get water washable ones, and they're a little bit friendlier, but not really. So you basically want to go full chemical biohazard with this stuff. So you want gloves, mask, you know, glasses. You do not want to get this stuff on your skin. So heads up on that. So if you're new and you just want to try out 3D printing, your best starting point is probably the filament printer. If you're modeling in double O, which you probably are if you're watching this channel, you ultimately are going to want both, right? You're going to want the filament printer and you're going to want the SLA printer. And the reason for that is there's a bit of a trade-off, like I was saying earlier. So with the filament printer, you can build fairly decent sized stuff. You can manipulate the structure using infill and stuff like that. I'm going to explain these terms later. But basically you can build all sorts of, you know, cool buildings with it fairly quickly and fairly cheaply. You can build tools with it and so on. It'll actually print fairly fine detail. I'll show you some of the projects we're doing. Actually, I can grab something for you real quick. Alright, just to give you a couple examples, this is a double O scale pillbox, and it was 3D printed, and this is straight off the printer, and it's fairly light. Probably cost me less than 50 pence to print. You can also print brickwork, so I don't know if you can see that, but this is a double O scale English bond brickwork, and you basically can, it's part of a house that I was building, and then you can actually use, I don't know how well you'll see that, but use just regular modeling techniques. So I actually you know, just painted this white and then kind of used a dry brush technique to kind of restore the color a little bit. So traditional modeling stuff all works fine on these 3D prints. In fact, you can go back and use some pretty old techniques and get some good results on the 3D printer that I buy. Like I said, some great deals going on today and over the weekend. So if you want to get into it, it's a great time to pick it up. You know, obviously your choice. However, what I'm going to do, like I said, is do some videos showing you guys kind of step-by-step processing, getting started, and hopefully it'll help save you some money, and maybe get to do some cool projects, maybe build something a little bit more unique for your layout as well. Alright, so you made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching the whole thing. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to be doing an update video here pretty shortly. I've got to finish editing it and filming a little few things for it, and then we'll upload it. Like I said, I'm going to be uploading 3D printing videos over the next couple of weeks. The advent calendar videos will be back. There's a little twist with the advent calendar videos. Since you watched all the way to the end, you can be one of the first to know. I'm actually going to have a product code, or kind of a coupon code, for the trekside3d.co.uk site, where you'll be able to download free models for each advent calendar day. So not only will you get to watch the videos and the Christmas music, you'll also, maybe if you have a 3D printer, go ahead and grab some free stuff as well. Alright, so hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys are doing well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.